Entitled neighbor thinks her kids can just go in my garden and use my trampoline. I told them no so many times, but they keep coming back. So I decide to get drastic. I'm 29, female, don't have any kids, but have my younger sister. She's 16 and living with me for around 10 years. We have a trampoline still in our back garden from when she was younger. Neighbor to the left of me has 4 children and moved in a year ago. 2 weeks ago, Glasgow started getting really good weather, so the kids have been out playing constantly and it's not an issue. They asked if I could let the kids use the trampoline one day. So I was like, sure, but only for a bit because I have friends coming over for some drinks. 7 p.m. comes. I ask them to go home because my 5 friends have shown up, and we're going to be drinking. Cue the crying. They leave the garden upset, but hey, that's not my issue. They've been on it for 3 hours. Their mom pops her head over her bedroom window and asks if they can stay in the garden longer. No, I'm not your babysitter. She's annoyed but drops it. Last week, I came home from some shopping, and to my surprise, find all 4 of the kids in the garden plus their younger cousin. I ask them to leave. Tell them they can't just come into my garden without me there, and they did not even ask. Well, they refused to leave. So I shot up at their mom and tell her to get them out of the garden. She says, quote, "Let them play for a bit, you don't even use it." Okay, but still, it's not your garden. Eventually, we get into an argument and they leave. She's mad now and shouting I'm being a Karen and I should just let them be in. I tell her not to ask again because the answer will be no forever now. This happened again the day after. All 4 kids plus their cousin waiting till I move the car from the driveway and heading straight there to the garden. So I wake up this morning. I've since put a lock on the trampoline. Just a small one on the mesh safety enclosure to stop them from opening it. 'Cause, well, I'm petty. Plus it's Saturday, I'm not working today, and my day off. I want a long lie. But no, neighbor decides that at 9 a.m. this morning, her kids are being fired straight out of the house with a breakfast bar and a bottle of water. They head straight to the garden, so I can hear them from my window. I look out and tell them to leave. By the time I get downstairs, Mom has descended from her house and is trying to climb the fence between our gardens, shouting about how I used to let them use it and she's going to the police for hitting her children. Great, you do that. I'll be sure to show them the Ring camera footage, which coincidentally also has footage of your husband picking the lock open, so your brats can use the trampoline. So, long story short, entitled mother sends her kids into my garden repeatedly even after being told not to, calls police on me for the harassment and hitting her children, and ends up getting her own husband arrested for theft and housebreaking and criminal damage. Suck it, jerk. What's up, guys? Mr. Reddito here. I hope you're having a wonderful day. The update for this story came 10 days after the original post, and it's titled, Update. Entitled neighbor wants her kids in my garden, oh boy. Hey everyone, thought I'd give a quick update on what's happened since this incident. I've had a few messages from people, so I figured you must be interested. Main point, I guess, is that the day after this happened, I spoke to the police about the charges and asked if they could just let it go. There was a charge of theft too because the dad moved tools out of the way and threw them into his garden. But they got thrown back in, so I wasn't missing anything. They initially asked me if I wanted the oldest kid charged. She looked a lot younger, I assumed 10, but she was actually 13. Because, well, she was the one who climbed the fence first, then went through my drive to open the gate, and let the younger kids through without climbing. Since then, the dad at the local shop I saw, he just sort of apologized quickly and thanked me for letting it go. I think the realization that his daughter could have been arrested for a wake-up call. Haven't heard an explanation though, maybe he wasn't thinking about how serious it could end up. The mom, on the other hand, absolutely crazy woman. I'd mentioned that she told police I hit her children. Absolutely not true. but she also decided to tell a couple of neighbors that I hit them also. Had 2 people ask me about this. She also put some sort of barbed wire at the top of the fence to stop me from climbing over. Like, what? Oh yeah, she also chained her outdoor grill and barbecue and dismantled the swing set I gave her when she moved in. And I thought I was petty. On a maybe related note, I had a visit from the SSPCA about an animal abuse situation even though I don't own any pets. They seem pretty annoyed about being called out for a prank, so I don't know what will happen with that. Also been asked about my sister's involvement with the story. I just mentioned her at the beginning because I wanted to explain why I was 29 and had a trampoline in my back garden laugh out loud. She also wasn't home at the time because she has clubs on. By the time she got back, it was all over. Overall though, haven't had any more issues from it. The trampoline, well, it's gone. Kids haven't really been out because it's been raining the past week, and I rarely see the dad around as he works a lot. And the mom spends her days in her garden being the most obnoxious. Anything you could imagine. Okay guys, so there's a couple comments I want to run by you. First, it's talking about the story, and then there's one about a similar situation. The one about the story says, I can foresee her attempting to dump a massive amount of pool chlorine as revenge, masked as an accidental dosage by OP or saying she's just trying to help. And here's the similar related situation. My brother, when he was a young teen, would go out in the middle of the night and find a random neighbor's backyard that had a hot tub and go for a soak. Never messed up or anything or caused a commotion. It wasn't until he got home one night and Mom caught him standing there soaking wet did he stop. Guys, that's a crazy story. It kinda relates to breaking into people's areas without asking and using their stuff. Let me know if you've been in a situation like this. Drop your comments down below, but let's talk about the story too. What would you do if this lady would just not stop letting her kids come over? I'd like to know your thoughts on that, guys, so drop them down below. And our final story of the day. OP's family likes to take his seat whenever he gets up. He gets fed up and brings his own chair to gatherings. Brother-in-law does not take this very well and ends up going full Hulk. If you're not subscribed to the channel, go ahead and click that subscribe button. You can also find the other 2 channels by Mr. Reddito in the description below. Here is story number 2. Okay, hear me out. For as long as I can remember in my family, almost any time I got up from my seat, someone would take it, either to be funny or to claim it as no one was using it. As a teenager, it literally got to the point I bought my own folding chair so I could pick it up and carry it with me. If I left it where it was, someone would take it, then get mad when I want it back. As an example, on a holiday last year, I got up from my chair for a moment to help with something and came back to find a kid in it. And then the family berating me for wanting them to move. But I tell them that when a man owns and brings his own chair, they expect to be able to use it. I own a very nice folding chair that's comfortable and easily portable, and I pretty much bring it to any family event because people are always scrambling for chairs. Well, the other day, I went to a birthday party for my nephew. And like always, I brought my own chair, but at some point I had to use the bathroom. When I came back, my chair was gone, and everyone acted like they did not know where it was. I said they had 1 minute to return it, or I was leaving. Well, they laughed at first, but then realized I was serious as I started going for the door. Everybody told me to just calm down, and it was just a joke. I said I don't care if they think I'm stick in the mud. I would not be bringing up my own chair at all the time if other people weren't always taking my seat when I get up. I don't think it's funny, I never did. My brother-in-law then pulled the chair out where he hid it, and when I got it back, one of the legs was broken. I said it was not like this before, and how could he possibly have done this to a metal chair? He said he could fix it and tried to unbend it, but only made it worse. The chair's pretty much unusable now because the leg's warped, and I don't want to risk putting weight on it. I told my brother-in-law he owes me $50 for the chair because that's what I paid for it 2 years ago. He got mad, kept saying it was just a stupid chair. I said it was my stupid chair and this would not have happened if he wasn't so immature that he and everyone else had to mess with me for years about where I sit. Then I took my now messed up chair and walked out. My family's been blowing up my phone, saying that it's just a chair to let it go. But I still want my brother to pay me back. Am I the a-hole in this situation? Small update. Last night, I sent a mass text message out to my family that I'll not be going to any family function, no matter how important it is, until they make this right, by promising not to screw with me anymore, and repay me for the chair. They've mostly gone quiet now, but I can wait. I've got all the time in the world for them to realize I'm serious. Wow. What's up, guys? Mr. Reddito here. That was an intense one. Well, I have a full update for this story. It took place nearly 3 months after the original post, and things are about to get wild. If you're not subscribed to the channel, just know you can find all my channel links in the description below, and each channel has daily videos. So make sure you check that out. Here's the update. I wasn't going to come back on here again, to be honest. I'd completely forgotten I made this account. I only got back in because I'd written down the password and left it on my desk. I was listening to some videos on YouTube a couple weeks ago when I suddenly heard one of my posts. So I thought I'd give an update. Well, things escalated a lot after I made that post because I linked it to my parents and other family members after a little while. They were furious with me at first. Some even mocked me, saying things like, "Oh, watch what you say or do around OP. He might just post it on the internet." But when they actually read the comments on my post when I made them, they became mortified. My brother-in-law, he did agree to pay for a new chair and gave me the money in cash. I bought a better folding chair than my last one and resumed going to the family functions. But whenever I was there was this air about some of the family members. I could sense it. They looked at me like I'd sucked all the fun out of the room. My parents had stopped thinking the chair thing was funny and even scolded a kid for taking my seat when I got up to use the bathroom. The only problem is that this kid was my nephew. He started crying when they made him get up. My brother-in-law came to the boy's rescue, and my nephew ended up blurting out that his daddy told him he couldn't do it. When I was out at the bathroom, there was a big fight about it going on. Several family members, including my sister and brother-in-law, were all yelling that it was just a damn chair. I shouldn't be so upset about it. My parents demanded to know why they were so mad about not being allowed to screw with me anymore. Like, what was their motivation after doing it for so long? It made no sense and wasn't funny anymore, and that's when I intervened. I told them none of this crap would have ever happened if they had not been so intent on messing with me when there really was no point to it. And I only started bringing my own chair because I could never find a place to sit. And if they still thought they were in the right about the situation, they were just bullies. Plain and simple. And what kind of example is that to be setting for their son? My brother-in-law raged, grabbed my new chair, and hurled it through the living room bay window. There was a bit of a pause before he realized what he's just done. He took off in his car and left my sister and nephew there. My parents got my sister to call him, and over the phone they threatened to go to the police if he did not pay for the damages. Brother-in-law yelled a couple F-bombs until my sister took the phone back, and she said he can either make things right or she'll divorce him. Well, that did the trick. Me and my parents, without even looking at us, she paid us for the new bay window and left again. He apologized. My sister said he drank himself to sleep that night. My new chair was just fine. It took being hurled through a bay window like a champ. There was hardly a scratch on it. My brother hired a window company to come and replace the window. and they had to order a new one before it could be installed. And until then, the window had to be covered with plywood. It took some time, but they got the new bay window, and it's better than the old one. Though I imagine it was an extra expensive piece because it's a bay window. The family was still divided about the situation for a while, mainly brother-in-law's parents, my uncle, and a couple cousins. They blamed me and called me obnoxious over insisting on bringing my own chair and refusing to let anyone else use it. Okay, so I compromised. I said that if I had a good designated seat that no one will try to take away, I'll leave my chair in the car. It took 2 more family barbecues before they finally agreed to this. Since then, I've left the chair in my car unless there really wasn't enough seating, and that's only happened once. The problem is, though, that even though they stopped screwing with me, they were still screwing with each other until things went too far. They still liked to take each other's seats, but I guess others were following my example because they put their feet down and demanded it to stop. It's been going on for decades, and I'm not kidding, I mean decades, and they've had enough. Brother-in-law stayed out of the fight entirely and hasn't caused any more trouble, but for several family functions, a number of people did not bother to show up. My mother was broken up about it because she loves hosting parties. It took months, but everything more or less normalized again. But without the chair thing on, some have resorted to other stupid pranks, like a little device you hook to a chair that makes it fart. Huh. They did not do this to my seat, but did it to a cousin, and said cousin got really petty at the next party and let out real farts. I'm not kidding, cleared the room. He said he ate a whole pack of fiber bars and had eggs for breakfast, hee. And it was damn nasty. Other pranks included hiding eating utensils, a stink bomb, hiding some sort of monster thing in the toilet, cell phones in a doorway, ripping paper when somebody bends over, messing with the drinks, hiding shoes, copying outfits, and a container of foam packing peanuts above the doorway. And finally, the one that really infuriated my aunt and uncle when a party was held at their house. A glitter bomb. A glitter bomb. They got the carpet professionally cleaned and billed the person who made the glitter bomb for it, so now pranks are over. They don't want any more, and I'm fine with that. But the last few family functions have been a bit dull. I think they were so used to how things were that now they're trying to find other ways to amuse themselves that don't involve cell phones. Am I the only one who thinks this family is completely insane? Maybe even OP isn't right in his own mind. I don't know though, let's look at some comments. It seems like this comment tries to give some advice to the family to get them to simmer down. No kidding! Someone needs to teach these people that card games and board games exist. If they can't have a good time just talking and catching up and hanging out, they can play a game of cards, though it sounds like they'd find some way to make a problem there too. I have to agree, I think this family is just full of arguments, and if it wasn't about a chair, it was about something else. Let me know what you would do though. Drop your thoughts down below. Thank you so much for tuning in. I hope to see you in the next video. Have a wonderful day.